The man eating at my table was buried 3 years ago. My hands were shaking as I bent down to pick up the silver spoon. "I'm so sorry, sir," I whispered, lifting my head. That's when I saw his face. My father-in-law. Dead for 3 years. Sitting at my dinner table. Eating my food. His skin was grey like old cement. His eyes, empty. Like looking into a dark well with no bottom. My husband's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "You broke the rule." The light started flickering. On. Off. On. Off. All 12 chairs scraped against the floor at once. Moving. By themselves. I ran. I jumped our fence and didn't look back. That was last Friday. My husband has been calling ever since. His last message said, "Come back, or your son pays the price." But let me start from the beginning. Because nothing about my marriage was ever normal. My name is Sarah, and I married Daniel 2 years ago. Everyone in town said I was lucky. Daniel was rich. Handsome. He owned 3 big businesses nobody really understood. On our wedding day, his eyes looked kind. But there was something else hiding behind them. Something I couldn't name. After the wedding, I moved into his huge house on the edge of town. The house stood alone, surrounded by tall trees that blocked out the sun. Even during the day, shadows filled every corner. I should have known then. But I was young. And in our town, women don't ask questions. Daniel had 3 phones. 3. One was gold and fancy. One was black and simple. One was old and cracked. He only answered the gold phone in front of me. When the black phone rang, he would leave the room. When the old cracked phone rang, his face would go completely white. Every Friday, he would pack a small bag. "Business trip," he'd say, kissing my forehead. "I'll be back Monday." And every Monday, he'd return in a different car. Big, expensive cars that smelled like leather and new money. He'd bring me gifts, gold necklaces, silk dresses, perfume from countries I'd never heard of. But something else came with him too. The smell. Not the perfume. Something underneath. Like dirt from a graveyard mixed with dying flowers. And fear. I could smell fear on him even though he smiled. I never asked where he went. I never asked about the phones. In our town, that's how good wives survive. But then came the dinners. It started 1 month after our wedding. Daniel came home on a Thursday evening. He wasn't smiling. His face looked serious, like a teacher about to give a hard test. "Sarah," he said, sitting me down. "Tomorrow is the first Friday of the month." "Okay," I said, confused. "I'm hosting a very important dinner. 12 guests. Very important people." My heart lifted a little. Finally, I'd meet his friends. His family. "I need you to cook," he continued. "Your best food. Everything fancy. An expensive wine." "Of course," I said, excited. "I'll make jollof rice, and grilled chicken, and..." "Sarah." His voice went cold. "There are rules. Very serious rules. You must follow them exactly." He pulled out a piece of paper and read. "Rule 1, cook a big meal. Use our best plates and wine. Rule 2, you must serve the food yourself. No house help. No neighbors. No one else can be near the house that night. Rule 3, keep your head down when you serve. Look at the floor only. Rule 4, never look at their faces." My stomach felt funny. Why can't I look at them? His hand grabbed my wrist. Not hard enough to hurt, but hard enough to scare me. "Because if you do, everything ends. Do you understand?" "Everything." I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. Good, he said, letting go. Tomorrow night. Don't forget. That first Friday, I cooked all day. My hands were tired from stirring and chopping and mixing. As the sun set, Daniel sent our house girl, Blessing, away. Go visit your sister, he told her. Don't come back until Sunday. Blessing looked at me with worried eyes before she left. Madam, be careful, she whispered. Careful of what? I wanted to ask. But she was already gone. At exactly 8 p.m., I heard cars pulling up. Not one. Not two. 12 cars. All arriving at the same time, like they'd planned it. I peeked through the curtain. 12 men in black suits stepped out. They moved strangely, like puppets on strings. Stiff. Unnatural. Daniel opened the door for them. They walked in without speaking. No hello. No good evening. Just silence. From the kitchen, I could hear their footsteps. Heavy. Slow. All moving together like soldiers. Sarah. Daniel called. Bring the food. My hands shook as I carried the big tray of rice. I remembered, head down, eyes on the floor. I entered the dining hall. 12 men sat around our long table. Daniel sat at the head, smiling big. But the air felt wrong. Heavy. Like trying to breathe underwater. I moved around the table, serving each plate. I kept my eyes down, but I could feel them. 13 pairs of eyes watching me. Not blinking. Nobody spoke. Only the sound of forks and knives scraping plates. Then I heard it. A wet, chewing sound. Like someone eating with their mouth open. But worse. Hungrier. My skin got goosebumps all over. I served the wine, still looking down. When I finished, I ran back to the kitchen and stayed there until I heard the cars leave at midnight. Daniel came to find me. His face was relaxed now. Happy, even. You did good, he said, handing me an envelope thick with money. Very good. I wanted to ask so many questions. But the look in his eyes stopped me. This happened every month for 2 years. The same 12 men. The same heavy silence. The same wrong feeling in the air. And every time, I obeyed the rules. Until last Friday. Last Friday started like all the others. I cooked. Blessing left. The 12 cars arrived at exactly 8 p.m. But something felt different. The air was thicker. Heavier. Like a storm was coming. I carried the food in, head down.